Dear God, thank you so much for allowing us this time together today to record another episode in your honor. Of course, it's me, Butch. And I just wanted to specifically thank you for the bountiful morning I had. I got to see what it's like to run a goat farm, which is exciting to me because I saw people working as hard as they could to make ends meet for themselves and their family. And normally I spend my mornings eating breakfast foods, but here I got to see a lot of them getting made, and it was really interesting to me to see.
Was it beautiful to see goat sausage being made?
Yes, I got to finally see how the sausage gets made, and it was really. The goat eggs were delicious. But anyway, also, Lord, I'd like to thank you also for curing my pneumonia as quickly as you did. A lot of people said, hey, 2 months of having pneumonia is a long time, and I said, hey, it could have been longer.
You were cold. You were very cold.
I was cold, and the Lord came down, and the Lord warmed me up from the inside out. So, Lord, I thank you for curing me. And also, if you have time, just take a look out for my wife and my kids, and let me know how they're doing, because as you know, we haven't spoken in a couple of weeks, and I'm pretty sad about it. But anyway, somebody else can go ahead and jump in.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Butch. That was beautiful. Dear Lord, I would like to pick up right where Butch left off, and thank you for my third book deal.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you for providing above and beyond what I ever thought was possible, Lord. This third book deal is going to be fiction. It is going to be a story I am making up.
It's YA, Lord. It's YA, young adult fiction, Lord.
It is YA, Lord, and it is going to be suggestive because I am capitalizing on the market that is 50 Shades of Grey, and it is going to be called Two Testaments of Grey.
Praise you, Lord. Praise you.
Praise the Lord.
Praise
yes,
you,
sir.
Lord.
Yes, sir.
And let's just say Moses is going to have another room inside of his ark.
We'll leave it at that.
Moses is going to have a room in his ark?
That's right.
We all know the smaller story of Moses and his smaller ark.
There are a bunch of Noah deniers which are coming out, and I support them, Lord. Noah was maybe not the one with the ark because they did find some bones near the ark where the ark was buried.
Because they found the ark as well.
The ark was buried.
The story is proven true, Lord, but the details of the story are not quite known.
I don't want to keep it in prayer.
This is all spoilers, and I shouldn't have even prayed
Let's
about
keep
it.
it in prayer.
But thank you for my new YA book deal, Lord. Thank you.
Lord, of course, it's me, Lindsay Gold. Of course, I would like to give blessings back unto thee for the continued guidance and love you have shown us on our great journey as we've been gone over 2 weeks in Jerusalem.
Yes.
And boy, has it been edifying. Thank you, Lord, for your education, for your guidance. I know exactly what I'm getting out of this trip. Yes. And I'll just leave it at that. I'll just leave it at that.
That's
we all know what we're doing here.
Yeah.
And we can all feel the gravitas of being in Israel.
Israel, Lord. Israel.
Come on.
Lord.
Bless you, Lord.
Bless you. You sneeze.
Zoom tight, Lord. They always come in threes. I'll give you a second.
Every time it rains, we know that's your little sneeze. And
Yeah.
we just want to say, after the afternoon showers this afternoon, Gesundheit, Lord.
To your health.
Yes.
And Lord, I want to thank you up there in heaven sitting on your big old cloud, I want to say thank you for giving me the most uncomfortable flight I've ever been on.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me downgraded from first class to a middle seat by the bathroom.
In the bathroom
A
specifically.
middle seat in the bathroom.
You took the downgrade?
I took the downgrade. I paid them $300 more. And I got separated from my friends and put on a different flight. Thank you for putting me on a flight that accidentally went the wrong way around the world, Lord.
Never stop challenging us, Lord. Never.
Never stop. Because I have learned what I am capable of suffering through, Lord. And I appreciate you allowing me to learn that.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
What a lesson, Lord.
Bless.
What a lesson.
Bless you.
Bless you.
And on that,
Bless you.
bless you, Lord.
Amen.
Amen.
All right,
Lord.
y'all ready to do this thing?
Let's do
Yeah,
it.
let's do it.
Mass is out and the coffee's on. I got a couple sins on my chest that I got to get on. Grab me some drinks and pour me a cup of that Joe. Welcome to the Preacher's Lounge, baby. Let's pray.
All right, everybody. Welcome to...
Somebody else's voice just said, yeah, let's do it.
Somebody's
me.
ridiculous voice.
Yeah. I do not have ridiculous voice.
Okay, yeah, well, anyway, welcome to the Preacher's Lounge, everybody, the first, best, and only podcast pertaining to issues that were relevant to the religious community surrounding Hamilton High School. But, of course, we've gone Jerusalem, folks. That's right. We are now reporting live from the Holy Land, Jerusalem, inside the temple.
That is right.
They've given us a little recording booth here inside the temple.
Yes.
And it's nice in here, man. It's really good.
It's just very important to get close to the Holy Land.
Yes.
To really see what you've been preaching, the places you've been talking about for years. For years.
See you later.
And it is very nice to get here with Jesus's people.
Yes, Jesus' people have so far proven to be very kind.
Yes.
We've been shown tremendous hospitality. I went to the inn, and the inn had room for me, is what I'll
Yes.
say.
That's
Congratulations.
Yeah, the inn had room for me.
Moishe, they did not have room for you?
No, they were all booked up.
Where'd they end up making you sleep, Moshe?
Well, they downgraded me to front desk concierge.
Oh, they make
they
you
were-
work
you were-
here.
You work here now.
I work at the inn, and that's part of my deal. It's been
But you're staying for free otherwise.
I'm still paying for the honeymoon suite, which I got to treat myself while I was out here because my wife and I famously did not have a honeymoon.
No.
Well, and this is a bit of a honeymoon with the Lord, isn't it? Aren't we
is.
sort of recommitting by
It
coming
does
out here?
feel like the Lord is picking me up and taking me across the threshold into our honeymoon suite.
That's right.
That's right.
It's very interesting. Now, I thought for forever I've been teaching the story of the Lord and how the inn was full and they had to go to the manger out back. I did not realize that is still very much a custom here.
Yeah.
Even the W Jerusalem has a manger out back.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very-
Yeah.
Now, are you talking about the W or the W? The George Bush themed hotel that we saw earlier.
I was talking about the W, but I love the W.
The W was
I mean,
gorgeous.
all of the rooms, the art
Yes.
in all of the rooms.
I took a tour.
Oh, good God, I love the art.
Isn't he an amazing painter?
He is a photorealistic, you
That's
could
what
say.
people-
It's all
don't
drawn
say
by George
enough.
W. Bush. And it's all his. I mean, Google his art. It's all looks like it was drawn by a man who is near the edge of sanity. And it's beautiful. It's in all the rooms.
It's great that people have encouraged him to pursue his hobby. You know, because I kind of sometimes feel like I'm not supported in a lot of my sort of extracurricular activities.
Really?
Well, it's
you know
just
what I mean?
a lot of people don't want to join a full contact football team with you.
Why?
With no pads.
Right. Well, that's the way it used to be. And a lot of people say if you're not wearing pads, you're more careful. That's why rugby guys don't ever get concussions or broken bones, because they're being more careful because they're not protected.
And that's true. Rugby guys are very healthy. They never have injuries.
Yeah.
They're not missing teeth.
But they're not. They don't have concussions and such, and
Right.
because they protect their head.
Mm-hmm.
And I just figured, everybody's got some aggression. Everybody's going through stuff that makes them upset, that makes them angry, and they need a way to get some of that aggression out. And I figure, hey, why not get a bunch of people who are all secretly very upset with their lives together to try really, really hard to play some really good games of football?
I'll say you have more than some aggression that you're not letting out, and it comes out on the field.
Oh, okay.
We've seen you at your son's Little League games
Yeah, well.
on the news.
Yeah, that's right, everybody. Of course, this trip was very perfectly timed because, of course, of the scandal that broke out.
Your Little League rant.
My Little League rant.
Which started in the stands and ended up on the field.
Yeah.
And you sort of stripping your son down naked, putting on his clothes, attempting to be him and play.
I said, because I said to the umpire, I said, if you're going to screw somebody your own age. So I put on his costume and I started playing t-ball. And I said, listen to me, son. You're going to make those bad calls. Do it to my face. Don't do it to my son's face. He doesn't deserve
That
this.
was such a mature move of you to just step right in and take the brunt of what your son was getting.
Exactly. And, and of course, my son is used to taking the brunt of the abuse because he's a runt. He's a small kid.
He's the
Right.
what?
He's a runt. He's a runt who takes the brunt. Okay. And so I told him, you know what? You put on my clothes. You go sit in the stands and see what it's like to see. You'll see what it's like. You'll see what it's like for me.
Yeah,
He
your son
was sobbing.
He was sobbing in huge clothes
Yes.
while you played a full game.
Yeah.
You tagged him out in the third inning of a 9-inning game. Isn't that right?
Yeah, I did. And then after that,
What a labor.
And you pitched a many hitter. Is that what it's called?
all hitter.
All hitter.
I pitched an all hitter.
Everybody hit every time.
Yeah.
Well, because that was the second story on the news. The first one was your rant,
Yes. Right.
and the second story was sort of a puff piece about a bunch of young children who finally gained their athletic confidence after
Yes.
hitting against you.
Yeah.
An all hitter. It was called the most humiliating night on the mound.
Yeah.
Was also another story.
Yeah, but
about the saddest pitcher in the world.
But I say, I'm a sacrificial lamb. Mm-hmm. You know what? I took the brunt again of all of that criticism from the news and these stories, and I had my name dragged through the mud so that those kids on that other team could finally feel like they were worth something.
Well, respect and praise to you. Absolutely.
Thank you. And I feel like I'm doing the Lord's work. Okay, I am showing kids. I showed those kids that they are talented, and yes, it's because I'm the worst pitcher that's ever existed.
And is the kid you hit in the head with a ball out of the coma yet?
No, not yet. He is responding to questions. He's got.
Whoa, that sounds very much out of a coma. If you're responding to questions, I don't think you're in a coma.
No, it's one of those situations
He
where.
drove home, but he's not out of the coma yet.
Hold on.
It's here. Here's the thing.
He's back at work.
Right. Yeah.
The kid's back at work?
Yes. The kid's back at work.
The child is back
The child's back
at
at
work.
work. He's still a little foggy, though, and the doctors are saying he's still mostly in the coma. But
They shouldn't have let him out.
It's a conscious coma, they said. They said he's in a conscious coma. He'll
Must
be
be
fine.
devastating.
If you ask him if he's awake and lucid, he says no, but then he can do everything else that he needs to do.
Well, good for him.
Wow.
You tried to pick him off at first base a few times.
Yeah, there was a full inning where you just kept pretending like you were going to pitch and throwing it to first.
Here's the problem. When I hit him and he got a base on balls and ended up on first base in a coma, he was just off the base and
He wasn't even taking a lead off. He was standing with his both feet on the bag.
At one point, you walked
Standing.
over and yanked him off the bag, and then handed the ball to the first baseman.
Yeah. And how did that not work? I don't know. Anyway, look, guys.
Well, like you said, this came at a great time.
It did.
After your scandal,
I'm
you
taking
needed
a break.
a break.
You literally had to leave the country.
Yes. My wife specifically said, "Thank God," which I took to heart. That really, when she said she was
really
thankful,
centers me every time.
when she said she was thankful for me to have to leave, that was me really coming to terms with our relationship and how much she just doesn't love me anymore.
But you know what else? You know who else had to leave?
Who?
The Lord himself, Jesus Christ.
That is true. He had
He
to
was
leave.
sent away for 3 days
Yes.
in a cave. We're going to be in Jerusalem much longer than that. But
Right.
I think
And
there's some
we
parallels
Famously,
here.
he was
I get it.
crucified and then sent away. That was.
We
that
are
was-
looking for the Lord. I did not know this, but we're finding out some new, interesting things when we're here in Israel.
I'm learning a lot.
From the locals, because we have this big, huge idea of what Jesus was. We're finding out a little bit more of who he actually was and what he was like here.
That's right.
Did you know? And I was talking to an Israeli man on the street,
A local,
Yeah.
who
Local.
knew the Lord's family, and they loved his family. And did you know that the Lord was only at the Last Supper for like a second?
Really?
Just for like a quick, just a split
pop
second.
by?
It was a pop by.
Wow.
Wow.
He was just hanging out there for a minute.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
Because I got the feeling that the Last Supper was really about him.
About
Yeah.
him.
Yeah.
No, it was a party that he popped by, and they painted him there in the middle.
So he must have stayed and posed for the picture, right?
No, he was just there, and somebody.
Oh, they just painted him into
They
it.
just got it. I mean, like, he was there. That is true. At one point, he was in the middle, and everyone was looking at him.
So they were trying to do a thing that was like, hey, come to our suppers. Jesus comes. Like they were making a
Yes.
painting so everyone would be like, oh, maybe I will go to Judas's suppers.
Exactly.
Kind
It
of
was
like
Judas.
one of these city club promotions. You know, they pay some celebrity $50,000
It
to come
was
down.
very
you think you're going to
much-
see the situation.
It was very much.
it's kinda like what
Cardi
you do
B showing
Yeah.
up at a club.
It's kind of like what you do at your church.
Exactly like that.
Yeah, you have
Barely there.
Yeah, you're barely there, and you have celebrities come by, and you just take pictures, and that gets people to come.
Because what people don't know about your church is that not only do you have the largest church in all of Houston, but the downtown skyscraper where you have a top floor office as well.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Huh?
You also not just have the church, but
Oh, yes.
downtown you have a skyscraper, a 62-story
I have a
building.
lot of real estate downtown.
Yes.
I have a lot of real estate downtown, and the church is one of those many pieces. But yeah, I mean,
Now, how is this story about Jesus going to affect your reenactments? Because you famously do a full reenactment of the supper through the crucifixion.
Yes, I do a passion play.
You do a passion play.
I do a full-length passion play. I don't take it. I
Over
don't
a couple
No
days.
edits.
It's
You do
a
not
few
edit.
days. It's a few
no
days.
edits. There is one scene where Jesus is going, "Oh shoot," and looking out the window at everybody mad at him
Oh, shoot.
Right.
for a
Yeah.
full 30 minutes. And I mean, I love. Do I want to play Jesus every year? No. Do I end up having to play him because the
Yes.
actor I cast just can't pull the emotion out? Yes.
Yes. And we've never seen you and these actors that you're casting in the same place, but you
Right.
swear you have a brand new actor every year.
I promise I'm holding castings that are lengthy. I've seen every actor in town and they can't do it. They can't. They just can't do it.
Good.
And
Well-
do I have to play Pontius Pilate and all 12 disciples and everyone else in the play? Yes, I do.
Yes.
Because I just can't trust it to anybody else.
I
Well,
get
I've
that.
sat in on some of these castings. We've had the long lunches.
Yeah.
We've looked over these headshots. And it's
Yeah.
just clear that
Well-
nobody can do this work.
I've heard that when someone deserves the role, when they walk in the room, you know it.
Exactly.
And if you don't know it when they walk in the room, you should send them right back out.
Yeah.
Don't waste
Yeah.
anyone's time.
That's right. That's right.
Are you stuffed up, Moishe?
Oh, you didn't hear? Huh? I was injected with the flu virus.
Yeah. Avian flu, right?
I was injected with avian flu.
Why, Moishe?
They're trying to see if it would mutate through travel, and they needed a pig. What's it called?
A guinea pig.
Yeah. They would, for some reason, they cut out the first part of that. They just kept calling me a pig. You'd think they were giving me swine flu. But anyway, they injected me with avian flu, and
So they kept saying, let's give this pig avian flu, is what they would say.
that's right.
Now, this is something, I'm not mad at you here, but if I'm traveling with you for, 17 days?
That's right.
This is something I kind of think you might need to disclose to people.
Well, I am wearing the doctor's mask. I don't know if it's on properly, but, you know.
You mean it on the back of your head?
Yeah.
That's definitely
You
not
can't
the way
wear
you're
a
supposed to
doctor's
wear it.
mask cool like a backwards hat.
Well, you know, I'm indoors, so I reverse the doctor's hat or the doctor's mask. But
You're
yeah,
really
so
having a tough time of it, Moisha.
it's I feel a lot like Job.
Oh, yeah?
I've been constantly punished.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tested, you could say.
Now, this must be a big deal being Jerusalem for you because, of course, you are now extremely Christian now.
I'm very Christian.
Yes.
But you were...
I'm not Jew no more.
Okay. Okay.
You will not carry a
I won't
kippah.
carry a bagel. I won't carry a kippah. Jesus.
Yes.
Of course.
Of course.
we get
we
it.
all say it.
Right. Well, classically, famously, my wife said I was too Jewish, so I converted to Christianity.
And she is
And
Jewish.
she's Jewish, and I was too Jewish for her, and I started Christians for Jesus, the church.
Good.
So it's interesting being back in Israel because I do, everybody speaks to me in Hebrew immediately. Everybody high fives me and goes, "My Jew."
Which is a classic Israeli greeting if you're Jewish, between Jewish.
Yeah.
I didn't get that at first when we were
Right.
getting here,
Right.
but I've learned it from the locals that
Yeah.
that's classic.
And I have to say to them, not anymore. Not anymore. So
I don't know if you mean for people to see this, but you've started throwing up a middle finger when they come at you with a high five.
Oh yeah. They put a high five up, and I say, "Fuck you."
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Go home, Rabbi.
Not anymore.
What's that?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I ain't Jew no more. So
You, of course, would have welcomed that sort of attention before.
Yeah.
yeah, but now I don't. And I'll show them my reverse circumcision if they need.
Right.
To, right. But yeah, it is interesting being here. I will say, Jewish or not, I love the falafel.
What do you mean Jewish or not?
Well, I really liked falafel when I was Jewish. It's a famous
And you
food
still
for
do? Okay,
Jews to
yeah.
eat,
So
and,
you still eat the falafel.
I'll still eat the falafel.
Thank you for
Are there any
clearing that
other
up.
sort of Jewish traditions like eating falafel?
I complain during movies.
I didn't mean to ask you this. This feels very offensive.
So you like to
Are
keep
there any
some
other
of your
Jewish
traditional-
tradition?
Well,
I'm
like to
talking
keep-
about Hanukkah or Chanukah.
Chanukah, thank
We
you.
call it. Oh yeah, we do the holidays, but we do them for Christ now.
Okay, right.
I went down to the Wailing Wall, and I still made sure that the men were separate from the women.
Right,
some
right.
things you just they're in your blood.
Right.
Now, I had to be corrected when we went down to the Wailing Wall because I was initially calling it the Great Wall.
Right.
And it's actually kind
as
of
a
offensive.
review, as a
here.
review, I'll take it. It is a great wall.
That's what I said.
And it's a great wall. It's beautiful. I mean, it's beautiful architecture. I mean, just a flat, beautiful wall.
Well, that's why you go.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, wow, look at this wall.
Yeah, and you
It's
kept calling it the
beautiful.
Great Wall, and you kept saying, "So this is China, huh?"
Yeah, it was another mistake I
Yeah.
was making.
You
I
were-
thought that Jerusalem, was further into Asia.
Right.
Right.
Middle East. You heard the East more than the Middle.
That's right.
Yes.
That's
You
right.
you maybe thought it was in the middle of the East. It's like, this
Yeah.
is the middle of Asia.
And this was not the only time I had egg on my face that day because I was walking around.
Breakfast for sure.
That's right. That's
You had a
right.
sloppy breakfast.
Well, I had a sloppy Benedict that morning, and I had
They said, "How do you want your eggs cooked?" And you said, "On my face."
on my face. That's right. And luckily, they obliged.
Your face is so hot.
Yeah.
They could cook it.
Yeah, they laid me down, let the sun hit my face for a while.
Now,
and
can I ask you, Lindsay? We all put a little wish into the Wailing Wall or a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
You were writing for quite some time there. You got a few pages in before you rolled it up and put it in.
Yeah, honestly,
Yeah, it honestly didn't fit.
Yeah, you could. You crammed it in there. It kind of. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a scroll by the time I was finished,
Yeah.
I just left it on the ground near the wall.
Right.
I was hoping that it all comes true.
Did you just have so many wishes, or was there one, or prayers, or was there one that you kind of?
I saw the first sentence, and I apologize, but it said, "My first
share.
wish is for more wishes."
That's right. That's right.
And then you just went on.
That's right. Well, I wasn't sure, but I thought that my wish had been granted.
Uh-huh.
And I felt just a rush of 1,000 wishes enter my body.
Right.
So I was there and I was wishing, I wished about 1,000 wishes, mostly for myself,
Yes.
some for my congregation.
And
So-
what were those for your congregation? Did they have anything to do with you?
Yeah, it was mostly about their golf game, shaving off a couple strokes down at Dogleg Methodist.
Yes, yes.
You know, the lifestyle we have down at the country club or the church is
yeah, because it's becoming really a lot of a hybrid there.
Yeah.
I mean, like there is a church on the premises there, but it's honestly more of a
Well, we've downsized-
hazard on number 7.
We've downsized
than
the
it is an actual church.
into a bunker, a sand bunker, and we've instituted a no jeans and a blazer policy everywhere at the church. So
I took communion and it was a BLT and a mimosa.
that's right. That's right. And, you know, we're one of those foofy country clubs who, you know, we're mostly a brunch place.
Yeah, and I wanted to have a conversation with
For the Lord.
with one of the deacons, and he kept saying, "Hi, I'm Bobby the Pro."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, nothing to sneeze at. All of our deacons are pros.
I'll say
Pros.
Bobby did correct your prayer game.
He really did. He really did. He
did.
said
You
it
were
was
swinging
all
your hips too much.
and he said it was mostly the problem was in my follow through.
That's right.
He said
That's right.
he said you really
Well,
got
that's
to
what I've
commit.
learned down at Dogleg is a lot of golf tips apply as God tips.
Right.
And
You know, it's only 2
coincidence-
letters off.
Yes, it's no coincidence that the names are so similar.
Plant your
Yeah.
feet, know where you are.
Yes.
Right? Same deal.
Beautiful, yeah.
Both,
Yeah.
both God and golf tips.
Yeah.
Plant your feet,
I
know
went
where you
there.
are.
I went there and I said I'm having a little bit of trouble with a wandering eye. You know, my wife, who is real and not me,
of
is
course.
not necessarily satisfying all of my urges, and I want to look around. And the God Pro told me keep your left arm straight.
That's right. That's right. Well, because
And I
when
said,
you
"Oh,
bend,
that works.
I mean, when you pull your head, where are your eyes going?
Yeah,
right with
right.
it. Right.
Wow.
Elsewhere.
Right with it.
But
Wow.
you keep your head in there,
Keep your
right
head-
across from
left
your
arm
wife. You
straight.
got, you know, that's most of what this Christianity stuff is.
Yeah.
You just got to wear the right
Hey,
blinders.
don't stray from the cart path.
That's right.
That's true.
That's right.
The
And I
grass-
want to thank
the
you
grass
guys
is
for
newly
spending so
planted.
much time down at the country club or the church or whichever one you're doing.
Have you gotten any rounds in here in Jerusalem? Have you been able to find a
I've been
church
playing
or a...
some beautiful golf here in Jerusalem.
Really?
I mean, sorry about baggage claim. We had to wait for my clubs to come in.
You didn't
that's
have.
all right.
I think you probably should have put them in a bag. You didn't have to put them in there individually.
No, I had to check them each individually in a suitcase. They each had to be in long suitcases because I don't want my clubs clanging around until I'm out.
Okay, well, I actually
Keep
didn't
the
think
club
about that.
separate.
You're
I
right.
just bought 3 new TaylorMade drivers and I brought them all.
wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
A 1, 3, and a 5 wood.
No, a 1, 1, and a 1. I'm trying all the
Same
models.
club.
Yes. Same club. I just want to make sure that it works.
Okay, in case it explodes. One of them
Huh?
explodes.
Well, it has an exploding head. It has
it's kind of a goof club.
It all really explodes off the head. Yeah, it's a bit of a goof club. Well, I've been getting
TaylorMade
into goof club.
One letter off.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, that Goof Club shop is... Everything they have there is very funny.
Well, we figured, you know, we toned down on the church and went up in the country club, and everybody was really happy. So we toned down on the pro shop
Yeah.
and went up into Spencer's.
I mean,
style.
as soon as I got there, I bought the 69 iron.
Absolutely.
Immediately.
One of those irons that, of course, has a head on both ends,
Yeah,
and you can bend it in the middle so they touch.
exactly. Exactly.
Oh man.
What else did we buy?
I can't think of one better than that one.
Yeah.
Some I bought some titties.
There's titties for sure.
Titties,
Yeah, there's that glow-in-the-dark Jack Nicklaus poster.
With a big joint. Those are the 3 items.
Yeah. Well, we've got a guest on the show today, which is great. He is a good friend of ours. He's here in Jerusalem with us. He's a good friend of ours, and I'll just go ahead and introduce him to you while he's singing for you. And this is Reverend Samuel Ezekiel. Samuel, how you doing?
Amen, brothers. Good to be in the fellowship with some of my best religious friends I have in the world.
It is so nice when you are in another country to run in to someone that you know from your own country. It really feels good. Like, oh my gosh, you are here.
Yeah,
It is a small world.
It sure is a small world. We're all here on this one earth,
Yeah.
living,
Oh, yes. Yeah, we are.
praising the same God
That's right.
in different ways.
That's true.
But nonetheless, small world, small religion, small God.
Now praising God in
Really focus on small God.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I teach at my church.
I was going to say
Right.
when you say worshiping the same God but in different ways,
different ways.
your method is actually quite unorthodox. In
Sure.
terms, you focus
It's into microscopes, is that
Yeah.
true?
Yes, we combine. I would like to say we were the original Scientologists. So L. Ron Hubbard took that
Sullied the
idea,
name.
but we like to.
He stole it.
He stole it. So instead, we're just a Baptist church in Mount Moriah. Now the thing is that you have to get onto God. In a microscopic level. Because God is a small God, right?
Yes, he is.
God is all around us in all different types of ways.
Tiny ways.
Tiny ways.
That's right.
Making things happen in big ways in the world.
Now,
Grace.
I went to your The Lord is in an Amoeba
Amen.
sermon, and I was blown away.
Yeah.
Well, firstly, let's just set the scene. You walk in. I know we came in late.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys
You
came
walk in and you see the pews are full and everyone is looking straight at the ground.
Straight at the ground.
Right into the eye of their microscope.
Right.
I couldn't believe you found that many, school lab microscopes.
Yeah, we have 913 school lab microscopes.
Wow.
in
Bless
in
the
my
Lord.
church.
Praise the Lord for
Yeah.
that
Tiny
fundraiser you
praise.
did for the microscopes.
Amen.
And I want to
amen.
apologize. I kept accidentally cracking the slides on mine.
Yeah, we don't have an infinite amount of slides, so
Yeah,
that
I'm
was an
sorry about
issue.
that.
A couple of our parishioners were not able to get close to their small God that day. But we did order some extra slides from Science and Capital in California.
And now you give grades on people finding their God, and if they don't
Yeah,
pass, they can
if
be
you
kicked
get-
out of the
if
church.
you get F, you're kicked out of the church for at least 2 weeks. That's right.
Okay.
But as you know, our small God is forgiven. So we allow them to come back in as long as they present us a science project or something.
Right.
in that
You
order.
essentially have
Extra
your
prayer.
parishioners write a term paper explaining their issue.
Yes. Now, some people say that's unorthodox. Some people say I'm just having parishioners write term papers to get college credits. The truth is, this has nothing to do with me trying to finish my college.
Now, you are enrolled
career.
in college.
I am
right?
enrolled
You
in
are
college.
enrolled in
Yes.
college.
It does.
I am enrolled in
It
college.
does feel like every one of your sermons, because they'll pop over to just like a history lesson,
Yeah.
and they'll be like, I got to get this history lesson. I mean, you guys.
You know, when you're speaking in tongues, sometimes you say the wrong things.
Right.
When you're talking to your church. But that's the one
Oh,
thing I
this
like
is
about
tongues.
in different tongues, when you mess up, you have a slip, that's a different tongue that
I
you're
saw
speaking
you
in.
speaking in tongues a few sermons ago, and
Thank you for coming by the church so much, by the way. You're there all the time.
Well, I like to see my competitors, you know? I mean, whether you want to say it or
It's a
not, we
game.
are all out there.
We're in
And
the
I
market.
have 9,000 current members.
Amen.
You know, and I want to make sure I stomp out all the little small churches in town that I can.
You're really the Amazon of churches.
I
Yeah.
am. I really am.
mom and pop
I just
churches
bought.
do not.
I just bought 6
bought
churches,
Whole Gods.
Christian Scientists, huh?
You bought whole gods?
Yes.
Oh, you own a whole gods.
I bought whole gods. I'm actually looking at buying Goggle.
Goggle.
Wow.
Well.
And that's going to be quite
That's a
the
huge online
merger.
church.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge online church. I mean, personally, I like GodTube. That's one of my favorite.
GodTube is good.
It's
I don't know. I think they made it too easy for people to create content. And they've kind of watered down
When I think
the
about
message of the
GodTube,
Lord.
I just think of those 14-year-old kids that are going to be raised having access to GodTube this whole time and how it's going to affect their little brain.
Are we talking about GodTube or are we talking about redchrist.com? Which one are we talking about?
I'll tell you this. If Red Christ was around when I was in high school, I would have never left the house.
I'm thinking the same thing.
But I saw you speaking in tongues.
Yes.
And it was very kind of like nonsensical, whatever.
Yeah, it was offensive.
whatever God
It was offensive.
It was if I
If
say
God
it's
puts that
offensive,
into me, if God
and then
puts
it
that-
just broke right into, if I don't finish this project, I'm not gonna pass this class, and I gotta have this credit. And then it went back into nonsense.
Yes. The Lord's Holy Spirit came into me in that moment. And it was trying to tell the parishioners in that way that if I don't have this project for class, meaning if you don't pay your tithes, if you don't pray for class, the Lord, then you're going to go to hell.
I see.
AKA fail this class.
Right.
That's right.
And I
Right?
noticed a lot in a lot of the textbooks, or not textbooks, the Bible you use, hell is the word detention is crossed out and hell is put
Yes,
there.
yes. Well, because we bought so many microscopes, we didn't have enough allocated funds. So I had to get a lot of college books and add some part. I immediately translated the New World Translation
Of course.
Bible
Right.
onto those texts and had to scratch out some things. I don't come from a rich church. We started out from a very humble beginning.
Right.
Had an idea stole from me to I felt like really could have had the church take off, and I'm just trying to do the best I can.
Well, and you can tell those humble roots in your syllabus. When
Thank
you
you.
walk into
Yes,
your church
thank
and
you.
everyone is
Yes.
handed a syllabus
Yes.
for what's going to happen over the course of the year,
Yeah.
this is
You know
this
what's
place
going-
is close to God.
And isn't that how you want to go to church? Don't you want to know what's going to happen on a week-to-week basis?
Yes.
Whether
No
we're talking
surprises.
about God
Praise Him.
or art or trigonometry, we're still just discussing everything inside God's world.
Right.
And
He created it all. He's all
He
knowing.
created it all. And I think it's important to have my parishioners having a different perspective. I want them to come into church and talk about God and to talk about everything in life.
And it's true that all of your sermons, they don't technically take place on Sundays. They're Monday, Wednesday, Friday
Yeah.
at 6 a.m.
And you can access them, of course, from the web portal.
Yes,
you want
of
to watch
course.
from home.
And of course, that changes every 4 months, obviously. Schedules can change every 4 months.
Because you're like, I need to get this work done
Yes.
before my Monday,
Yes.
Wednesday, Friday, 8 a.m.
That's right.
So you
That's
have to come
right.
in at 6 a.m.
They come in at
You're,
6 a.m.
even though you're getting your parishioners to do your work for you, you're still procrastinating.
How the parishioners are doing the work for themselves.
Oh, my bad.
right? Not for me.
I'm sorry.
Right.
You're a pretty successful pastor or reverend. I don't know the difference.
Thank you, Moisha. Hey, that's my Jew. Hey, my Jew. Come on.
Fuck you, motherfucker.
Hey.
Jesus.
Whoa.
I ain't you no more.
Oh, right. That's right. I'm sorry.
But you're already so successful at this. What are you going to college for? Why do you need that? Are you trying to move on into a different career?
Honestly, before God came into my life, I was out of work mechanic. And
Jesus, you got to be bad. I feel like it's the one job you can pretty much get work at.
yeah, well, it was really
Were you
tough
bad
for
at
me.
fixing things?
I was bad at diagnosing things that were wrong.
I
I could
see.
fix anything if someone else could tell me exactly what was wrong with it. I could
Interesting.
fix anything.
You could turn the bolts.
I could turn the bolts.
That's
I
a
could
very
not
specific-
determine what bolts needed to be turned.
Okay.
I think I remember you driving up to me in a parking lot once because I had a big dent in my car.
Yeah.
And you said, you need that dent fixed? And I said, yeah. How much? You said, $300. I'll take the engine out and put a new one in. And
Yeah,
I said, okay.
I have no idea the workings-ons of innards of the cars. I just know how to. I've always been a fixer my whole life.
Right, yeah.
And so God came alive and said, "You gotta fix things."
Yeah.
You got to take care of yourself, number
Exactly. You got to take care of yourself.
Because
And
you
so-
were one of the first savant mechanics.
That's
Is
right.
that true? Like a young little piano player, but with cars.
But with cars, exactly. I never knew the notes,
Right.
But I knew how to make beautiful music with a
Instinctual.
car.
You would put on a
instinctually.
blindfold and just fix
And
a
just
manifold.
fix. I would just grab. Are they called carburetors?
Yes.
I would just grab carburetors.
Yeah, 'cause
I would
at
grab engine parts.
At 6 months old, you were the head mechanic for
Exactly.
a NASCAR team,
That's
right?
true. Yes. For Ricky Johnson's father's NASCAR
Wow.
team. Yes.
Dickie Johnson.
Dickie Johnson,
Yeah.
yes. I was the head mechanic at 6 months old. They had a pretty open policy in those days. NASCAR's changed a lot then. Since
Well, they were famously in last place.
Yes, they were. But,
worst, worst team ever in NASCAR.
that's true, yes. They were constantly in last place.
Yeah.
And that's why they changed the rules. But I had a calling, and God said, "You're a fixer. Fix your education." Wow.
Good.
And so I said, you know what? I dropped out of 9th grade. I got to go back to college. I had never been to college.
And did you
mind
finish high school?
I never finished high school.
So you
I
skipped the
high
hard
school,
years of high school and went
and I
back
went
to
straight
college for the first time.
And I went straight to college for the first time.
Did you have to get a
Good.
GED or anything like that?
No, I just tested really high on all the scores that they had.
Oh, wow.
You come in, they have you do an entry test. And there's some variances where when you were supposed to graduate from high school, in your graduation year, they allow you to still take college credits. And I blew their mind.
Is this
So
true?
much, they said, put them in college right now.
Well, you did the big thing with the test where everyone was taking the test and no one had anything to write on. They're all sitting in those little eggs. And you were the only guy to think to pull a table all the way over and write on that.
yeah.
And they thought your ingenuity to do that was like smart enough to put
In a lot of ways, some people say that is the test to get into college.
Yeah.
You know, have you guys ever been to college?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, not I.
No.
I've been a man of the cloth since very young age.
Because I'm trying to figure out how to deal with bullies there.
A lot of adult age
lot
bullies.
Of adult age
You're getting
bullies.
bullied. 'Cause you're a,
Not me in particular. I'm asking pretty much for a friend of mine. It's not me in particular. But I don't have a lot of college-educated acquaintances. I have a lot of religious friends and not a lot of worldly friends.
what are you getting bullied for? Or what's your friend getting bullied for?
For being short. For being a short man.
Sounds a lot like you.
Yeah.
Because you're standing in a chair talking to the microphone.
Yes,
right
I am. But
You're 24 inches tall.
So you're
big word.
24
But I think-
inches, you look like a fellow. What were you saying about
Well,
that?
I think he was thinking that I am dog-like because one
Right.
sermon he came in, there were marionette strings on me while I was singing something.
You're speaking in tongues.
And I was speaking
You're
in tongues.
speaking in tongues. Your
And
mouth is
nothing-
flying
And
around.
here's the thing. There are marionette strings on you right now that are going up, and I can't see where they disappear.
Yes.
But
Yes,
it's
there are
crazy.
marionette
It's utterly
strings
crazy.
above me right now that seemingly control all my joints, movements, and actions.
What
But
an
that's not
illusion
the
you
case.
must be doing intentionally.
Yes, I
And this
can
is a
take the
metaphor.
hits. This is a metaphor for
Okay.
God.
Right.
God is controlling all the strings in our life.
Right.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Right. God is helping us move forward in better ways. And when you mess up in life, one of the strings have been cut. Right?
Wow.
And then if all the strings get cut, you go to hell.
That makes sense.
So if you
Because the
mess
strings
up-
are holding you up in our mortal
If
coil.
you mess up 4 to 5 times, you're going to hell.
you literally drop
Everybody
straight to hell.
has a different amount of marionette strings on them, right?
Right,
Some
right.
people need more.
Wait,
Some
so
people-
you
Well,
mean God?
Lindsay has been to hell or heaven, he swears.
Heaven.
Really?
Well,
Which
no,
you recently had you got bunked on the head at a dodgeball game and you were dead for 15 minutes, right?
That's right.
And you went to heaven, you said?
yeah, I think so.
How was it?
It was amazing.
Okay, where'd you wake up?
First of all, 15 minutes in heaven time is 30 years.
Okay.
So I woke up and I was in the middle of the most gorgeous, palatial trash dump.
What?
That sounds awful.
Doesn't sound like
No. But it was so big that it had created almost mountains of majesty, oceans of shit water. You know, I think it had gone so far into gross that it had come back around.
Well, did you see anyone there? Were there anybody else in the trash dump?
Well,
Any small gods or anything?
Well, I think God was all around me. I stepped one foot in a dirty diaper, and I said, "That's God."
No.
And then I stepped one foot on a nail, and I said, "That must be God too." We've all heard the stories.
Now, I've always kind of imagined that in heaven, maybe you get wings or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
Can
does
you
that
fly?
happen?
Yeah,
Can you
yeah,
fly?
Yeah, you get weights tied to your back with a chain.
What?
Yeah, so instead of wings, you have these weights that sort of hold you down and keep you in the hot fire that's all over the ground.
Hot fire.
Yeah.
It's not heaven.
This sounds like hell, Lindsay.
Guys, I've been to hell twice now.
And you keep going to hell and coming back.
Honestly, it's
you
what
got to
keeps
get right with the Lord.
It's what keeps me religious. It is the one thing that continually makes me believe in God is that I'm terrified to go back to that place.
Did you see anyone you knew, like relatives or anyone?
Yeah, I saw my long lost love.
Oh, really?
My first high school sweetheart.
Wow, she's there. She's dead. First of all,
Well, yeah, unfortunately, she's dead, and she was in a fire red Camaro. Wow! And right when I saw her, she peeled off, leaving me in the dust, just like she did. Just like she did in high school.
In high school.
It's possible she just didn't see you. She wasn't like in the car with the hunk or something like that.
Well, that's what I thought at first, but then I revisited it, and I remember the hunk saying, "There's that pervert," and he pointed at me, which I don't know why he's saying that because I've been a God-abiding citizen my whole life.
God-abiding citizen.
Yeah, God-abiding citizen.
I'll say that it's interesting that he, God-abiding citizen, was sent to hell in the first place. You think it's some type of test from God?
Well, I don't know. I don't know what could have happened to me, but I think my marionette strings were also cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I'll say this. Having gone through that experience, you came out pretty well on the other side, and I'll say you looked like you were having a blast when we went to the Dead Sea.
Yes, that's right.
You were there, Ezekiel. We all went in that swim in that very salty Dead Sea water.
Oh, the best part is how floaty it is.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I hate getting wet because it's a splinter. I mean,
What?
I feel gross when I'm wet. It like splinters my spirit.
Your spirit, not your presumably wooden body.
No.
I thought we lost you there for a second. I couldn't see where you were, and I thought a big fish had swam up to me or something, like a 2-foot fish.
Yeah,
Well,
it was
interesting because you were swallowed by a tuna fish.
That's right.
And all that was left was the strings coming out of the tuna fish's mouth. And I heard someone say, "I got a big one on the line."
Yeah.
And people started to gather around. Your puppeteer? I mean, that sounds crazy to me. That sounds crazy. That
wasn't
couldn't
a
have
puppeteer.
happened.
What happened was a fisherman accidentally got my strings caught into his line.
Your strings that exist,
Right,
you use as a metaphor.
My metaphor. They're
real, but they're a metaphor.
If you believe in it enough, it manifests itself.
I do want to say this fisherman had one big tackle box.
Sure.
And then he also had a large trunk with a bunch of small clothes and other sort of costume
Purely
type
coincidental.
materials.
Purely coincidental.
He seems to be some type of puppeteer / fisherman.
And
there's a lot of puppeteers who are interested in fishermen out there. I
Really?
can't say. Well, unrelated to this example, I just noticed that that's a thing that they
like
are
strings.
into.
They like strings.
Strings. Fish strings.
I
puppeteer
actually-
strings.
Yeah.
I did
string
have a
beans.
conversation with this man. I did. I had a conversation with him. His name was Jeff. He was a really nice guy.
Dude. Nice.
What?
I'm just assuming that he's a mean guy. I'm assuming he's a really mean guy.
Because you think he sort of intentionally uses you as
That's
bait?
the way.
or-
This seems like classic.
His negligence in getting me caught up in the strings and putting me in the tuna's belly.
I
All
hate
that
to-
was a lamp. It was disgusting.
I hate to
think
do
he's a
this,
mean guy.
but this seems classic puppeteer puppet sort of shtick here, where the puppet hates the puppeteer and is annoyed by the puppeteer.
No, absolutely not. I'm not a puppet going to college. I'm just a normal preacher who's just trying to live his life by the
This
small
is
God.
so complicated.
I believe it. Hey,
Here's the
we're
thing.
godly
And
men.
The
We have to believe him.
The conversation that I had with Jeff actually really, I mean, it kind of made everything about you make sense, which I thought was interesting. He was telling me he is actually a comedian.
Oh, that's the guy. Your conversation got interrupted because Ahmed the terrorist showed up on the beach.
Yeah.
That guy is funny.
It was
That
Ahmed
guy's
the terrorist is so funny.
God, that's funny. That's what me as a blue-blooded American wants to see. Someone turning the thing that scares me on its head.
Yeah.
And make me not scared because the number one enemy is terrorism. Terrorists are gonna get us. We got to keep the military big.
And Butch, so you're suggesting that maybe Jeff Dunham, the comedian, is puppeting
Dunham, yeah, that was his last
Samuel.
name.
Yes.
Sorry, I wasn't actually familiar.
He's one of the parishioners at my church, yes.
Oh,
Jeff
Dunham
Dunham
goes to
goes
church?
to my church.
Because, I mean,
He lives
not
at my
that he's
house with me.
trying to get.
But it has nothing to do with me
lives
being
there.
one of his puppets.
Okay, well, it seemed to me like he was. From my interaction with him, it felt to me like you were an idea he was workshopping. He was.
Yes.
He said to me like, "Wouldn't it be funny if I had a puppet?" He said all this word for word. He said, "Wouldn't it be funny if I had a puppet?"
And you're just putting this together now.
Yeah, I'm just putting it together now. It's all making sense.
And he doesn't typically do marionettes, so he's really going out on a limb with this one. I mean, the thing that I think is not, this can't be Jeff, is it's not racist enough.
I think that may be true. It doesn't have his telltale taste.
So I think I probably
So
just
we can let it go,
coincidence.
right?
Yeah.
We can let it go now. It's
Can
not
I ask-
racist enough. I'm definitely not a marionette doll. Okay? Let's let
Okay.
it go.
Did you bring your wife Barbie with you here, or?
Yeah, I think she's under your foot right
Oh.
now. Yes.
Ow.
Yes.
Ow.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh.
She's there.
I saw a little bit of her nothing.
Hey, excuse me, sir.
Sorry.
You are married,
Whoa.
correct
Sorry.
me or not?
Yes.
Look at that little bit of a nothing.
Correct me
I'm
or
so
not?
sorry.
I would
should
say
not
my
have-
wife has a something, sir. Not a little bit of a nothing.
Yeah, I apologize for suggesting that your wife is not anatomically correct.
Now, what are you doing here in Jerusalem?
I decided to come to Jerusalem
Of your own free will.
of my own free will, of course, to really take in the middle of the East.
Right.
I've been to Mecca, and Jerusalem was next on the list. After this, I'm going to go to a Punjab province in India.
Okay. You're really
And,
traveling.
Yes, we're
And
really
how are you traveling? Are you traveling on the plane, like in a seat, or are you sort of...
Yeah, I'm basically in a seat, except it's in a compartment inside of a suitcase. But it's just the way I like to travel.
Is it cheaper? Yeah.
Well, that
money.
doesn't prove
my
anything
wife and
because
I.
that's how I traveled for a bit of my trip too. So
Oh yeah, you got downgraded.
I
right.
got downgraded
Yes.
the luggage at a certain point.
Yes. That
And you
happens.
had to carry someone's clothes.
Yeah.
You were made to be the luggage.
Yes, that's right. I was the bag carrying someone, and unfortunately, they're on their way back from a trip where apparently
dirty
they did
underwear.
not have a laundry machine, and they walked a lot, and it was hot.
Wow. And you have to
So
travel back with. So your travel's based on their travel.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
So you carried a bunch of dirty laundry in the bottom compartment of a plane for someone?
That's right. Yeah. Well, I had to eat it all. I was inside of it because I was their luggage.
What?
That's right.
You had to carry it in your stomach.
And then first I got lost, and then I got taken home by the wrong guy who apparently had a similar looking bag, which I don't buy.
What?
But he opened me up and he said, "This are my clothes."
He opened you up.
Well, yeah, got me
He made
open.
you throw up all
He
the clothes?
unzipped me. No, he unzipped me.
Really? How?
Wait a minute.
What? Well,
You got a zipper on you?
What was his
You got-
reaction when he unzipped you and...
yuck! These are my clothes.
What did he say when you came around on the baggage claim line? Did he say like,
I said, "Yes,
yep,
that's my bag, honey. Shut up."
Well, first of all, this guy sounds like
So
a mean
it's-
husband.
He
What
sounds
was
like
his wife saying? That's not your bag. That's a man stuffed full of dirty clothes.
That's a man stuffed full of a fat guy's dirty clothes, filthy dirty clothes.
Which
your
were his,
bag
presumably.
is a small leopard print sack.
To be fair, very similar to what you were
Yeah,
saying.
you did have all those henna tattoos.
Yes, yeah. Anytime I fly, I get henna all over my body
And cornrows.
and cornrows. When I fly, I like everyone to assume I just got back from Tijuana. Like I was like a 14-year-old girl on vacation, and I just got everything done. So yeah, so that doesn't prove anything just because you were in a compartment.
absolutely.
You
Right.
know? It doesn't mean you're a puppet.
I'm not.
I've noticed every time we've asked you a question, if you've answered, your nose has grown a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. I know.
This is
I
a
will
new
not
level.
make any. I will not make any qualms about it. Yes, my nose.
So maybe you are a real boy.
I am a real boy. First of all, I'm a real man. Let me say that. You know, NASCAR 6 months. Listen, my nose grows.
So is it Geppetto Dunham?
No.
Is it Jeff Petto done?
No, it was not. You know, you guys are being really
Right.
crass.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
being callous.
We're sorry. We're sorry. Sorry, Sam.
Sorry.
This, you know, this is
You're
our
just-
time off.
Samuel.
You're just a small man who is in college, who is trying to trick his parishioners to do all his work for him.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
That's
well,
it. It's that simple.
Okay. Basically, yes. That's exactly.
That is true.
That is
what
true.
you will admit, you are a preacher who is trying to get his parish to do his college work.
No, that's incorrect. I'm not a preacher who's trying to get his parish to do his college work for him. I'm a preacher who is getting his parish to do college work for him.
Fair.
But we're
fair.
all learning.
But everyone's learning, and
Yes.
it doesn't hurt anybody, and it only helps me. So,
But so basically, if we'll accept that,
But that's a lot of what church is.
it really is.
You're helping everybody passively while helping yourself incredibly actively.
yeah. So let's.
it helps them have a better way.
And
of
we'll
life.
just accept that truth and not
Thank
push
you.
further on this marionette thing.
Thank you. I
We'll just
appreciate
accept the more honestly the worst truth, which is that you're taking advantage of hundreds of people.
not taking advantage of them.
Okay.
We all
Well,
want to be there.
Difference of opinion.
I'd say we all have 2 more days left in the Holy Land. Does anyone have a kind of a spiritual goal before they leave?
Oh, that's good. That's
Good.
I, for example, would like to just get a wink of sleep.
And that's a spiritual goal for you?
Well, at this point, it's the best I can hope for.
Because your upstairs neighbors are kind of loud.
Well, yeah. Well, they put me underneath Jerusalem's only rave venue.
Wow.
So I haven't gotten a wink at all, and it's been tough.
And can you sleep during the day when the rave is sort of not going, or are you
No,
working at that time?
During the
or-
day, they have stomp rehearsals there.
Oh wow.
So kind of an incessant pounding.
The day sounds honestly worse than the night.
Well, you're going to try to get a wink of sleep. I think we can probably help you with that.
Yeah.
You know, we can
Yeah.
Whatever
probably
you can do.
wind down in the evenings
Yeah,
and
you
maybe
can-
have some tea
yeah, you
and sort of
could-
get into that mental state.
you can come sleep in my hotel room if you need to.
Oh, that would be.
Yeah, he's at the W.
Yeah, I'm at the W.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
The W or the
I'm,
W?
I'm,
No,
in the,
the
I'm, in,
W.
I'm in the W. I'm in the mission accomplished room.
Yes.
Oh, that's a
Yeah,
wonderful
there's like
suite.
60 Marines.
Yeah.
who
It's
who are
it's
looking
decorated.
at
Yeah, it's
sleep.
decorated like the flight deck of an aircraft carrier, and it comes with 60 mannequins.
and instead of
Marines.
a robe, they give you a
Bomber jacket.
jumpsuit with a big codpiece.
Yes.
Huge cod.
Or you can stay with me. I'm in the preschool whisper into George W. Bush's ear that 9/11 has happened.
Oh,
room.
yeah. I've been meaning to read My Pet Goat. I'm guessing I've heard they have
read
that
it.
instead of a Bible in the top.
Yes. Yes. You can stay with me if you
Yeah,
want.
please. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, you got options.
Don't stay with me. I kind of need my space.
I understand.
I have a, for these last 2 days, I have 36 holes each day, and I really need to be rested for that. We're playing best ball, and I really want to put in my.
Oh,
So would
who
you
are
say-
playing with?
I don't know the guys' names actually. I don't know their names, but it's really important to me that I show up to my foursome and bring my best.
Okay.
Is that your spiritual goal?
Yeah, to shoot 2 under.
To shoot 200 on 36 holes. I feel like the second 18 is going to be hard.
It's going to be hard. Well, it's hot as hell out here. It's hot as hell. Trust me,
see
it is
there.
as hot as hell was. I'm saying.
And you know.
No.
I've been downgraded to golf cart also, so I'll see you there. You'll be riding
good.
around.
My spiritual goal, I think my spiritual goal for the rest of this trip is actually, it's a goal I'm projecting back to the United States. One, I would like for the umpire that I shamed to realize that he is a cancer on this earth and realize he needs to change his ways and treat kids with respect and not call strikeouts like it's the most fun thing in the world.
Willy-nilly.
Yeah. I mean, you guys all know the big problem I had was the way that he called strikeouts. My son got struck out and he threw him out of there in a way that I thought was really
Did a big out.
Yeah, and then when my son looked at him, he pointed at him in the face, put his finger right to my son's nose and says, "That's right, it's you, little buddy. Get out."
Yeah. So
I'd love for him to sort of have a spiritual reckoning and see the error of his ways. And in that same token, I would like for my wife, if she is listening,
she's not.
to know that I love her
She's not.
My spiritual goal is that God will sort of step into her life and make her real. What I would hope is that he would just tell her that make her realize that I do love her, and regardless of
No.
This is brave, though, of you to make your spiritual goals about other people changing in ways that you're not involved with. It is really, really brave
Yeah, it's pretty
to
brave.
spend your prayers on
God
other
is
people.
good.
And my personal
And small.
spiritual goal, my personal spiritual goal is for me to just stay the strong man that I am.
Yes.
You're very
You have
strong.
very strong arms.
Thank you.
My spiritual goal for these last 2 days is to visit the tomb. Where
Jesus?
no.
The tomb.
The tomb.
Yeah, the tomb. There's a big tomb here, right?
Yeah. Where Jim Morrison is buried?
You want to go to France and visit Jim Morrison.
This whole Jerusalem
That's an
thing has been
interesting
so. It's hard to know all the specifics, but you can feel it in the air here that it's important.
Yes.
Jim Morrison's not a character in your young adult 50 Shades of Grey book, is
He is. He is. Jim Morrison is.
Old adult fiction.
Was that?
Old adult
Well, there are
fiction.
some references that the YAs won't understand.
So Jim Morrison is hanging out with Moses on the ark?
Well, yeah, he comes on and he sings People Are Strange and Light My Fire and stuff.
Just the big ones.
And some other songs by The Doors, and read some of his poetry. But I do want to visit his tomb, because a lot of people don't know this, but Jim Morrison, he rose after 3 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he did.
Rose after 3 days and then came and died here in Israel.
Yes. Yeah, so we're getting out of here. We're going to the Wailing Wall again
Get down
today.
there, check it out again. See if maybe some of our wishes came true.
Got a few more to write down.
Oh, yeah. I went to the wrong Wailing Wall.
You did. Oh,
I
you
ended up.
killed.
I saw you with a harpoon in your hand,
That's right. I showed up in waders and a harpoon.
which is a sick thing. You could kill
Oh,
a
you
whale.
thought you were going to wailing.
Yeah, I just kept throwing that harpoon at the wall. Wow. And a couple, this was a little rude, but a couple overweight people.
Pulled you aside and says, "Please don't do
And,
that."
and also, I saw a couple rich gamblers. You also,
Yeah. And Bob Marley's band I threw at.
which it was great for them to be playing again.
Yeah.
I love that. I
They're
love
back and they're still doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll see you at the Wailing Wall tomorrow. I'll come actually prepared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks so much for listening to another episode of the Preacher's Lounge.
Yep.
We're
We're sorry to who was the guest today? Catherine Zeta-Jones.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
We had to bump.
We had to bump Catherine Zeta because she couldn't make the travel work.
Well, she said she had to bring Kirk Douglas, and after we saw the Golden Globes, we said pass.
I loved that. That was my favorite part of the Globes. Wheeling out a corpse and everybody giving it a standing ovation.
And then watching it talk for 5 minutes and just saying to yourself, please stop, please stop,
We'll
this is
celebrate
horrible.
Hollywood for 4 hours, but we will make you face your own mortality for 5 minutes.
Yeah. But so sorry that can happen. But next week on the show, we've got a really special guest. It's actually
President Obama.
President Obama. He's fresh off his interview with David Letterman on his new Netflix special. He decided to come on the Preacher's Lounge, which is amazing. So we're excited to talk to him.
And thanks again to our guest from last week.
Ross Perot.
Ross
right?
Perot.
Ross Perot. Thank you, Ross.
We went from one politician to potentially Catherine Zeta-Jones and then to Barack Obama. So we were
Descending order of excitement and power.
Anyway, thank y'all so much for listening, and make sure you tune in next week to the Preacher's Lounge. But until then, stay flippy.
Mass is out and the coffee's on. I got a couple sins on my chest that I got to get on. Grab me some drinks and pour me a cup of